Hello, beloved chosen one of God. If these words have found you, it's because heaven is looking for you right now. Something in the unseen has shifted, and that's why you're hearing these words right now. This is not a random scroll. This is a divine interruption, a crack in the ordinary where heaven is pressing through to reach you. If your spirit feels it, you're not just a viewer. You are one of God's chosen ones, the generational curse breakers rising now. You've walked through waiting seasons, shadowed valleys, warfare, heartbreak that stole your breath, delays that made you question your anointing. Yet the oil never left you. In the wilderness, heaven was marking you. Tonight I am here to announce a holy shift. Cycles of loss are ending. Doors that refuse to open are starting to tremble, and what stood against your bloodline is losing its right to stand. This is your threshold moment, from wilderness to promise, from hidden to appointed. You are being called as living evidence that God still works miracles in families. If your spirit is saying yes, mark this moment. Comment 777. Release a super thanks, subscribe as a prophetic act of faith. And stay until the end, because a deeper revelation is about to be unlocked for you. Chosen ones rise. God's chosen ones, the generational curse breakers rising now. You, chosen one, if something in you is stirring as these words reach you, it is because your spirit recognizes a voice it has heard before. Not my voice, but the echo of heaven that has been whispering to you in the quiet hours, in the sleepless nights, in the questions you never dared to say out loud. This moment is not random. This is a divine interruption in your timeline, a sacred glitch in the algorithm where eternity brushes against your present. You've been asking for a sign, for confirmation, for proof that you are not crazy, for feeling different, for sensing things others ignore, for refusing to bow to patterns that everyone else calls normal. What if the very thing you called failure was actually heaven in disguise, rearranging your path so you wouldn't settle for less than what you were born for? You, chosen one, have not walked an easy road. There were waiting seasons where time felt like a heavy cloak on your shoulders. Warfare that left bruises on your unseen places, heartbreak that shattered you in ways you thought you'd never recover from, delays that made you wonder if God had skipped your name on the list of promises. And yet, look at you. You are still here. You are still listening. There is a reason for that. Scripture whispers this over you: the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John chapter 1:5. And that light is not just around you, it is inside of you. The very fact that you can still feel, still hope, still long for God is proof that the flame has not gone out. It has only been hidden under the ashes of a long battle. Think of Joseph in the Old Testament, sold by his own brothers, betrayed, imprisoned, forgotten, yet lifted to a position where the same people who broke him had to come to him for bread. Heaven is not romanticizing your pain, but it is telling you that the pit was never the end of your story. You, chosen one, may not have realized it, but you have been in training. While others chased applause, you were learning to hear the whispers behind closed doors. While others sought platforms, you were being anchored in secret, in the way that Michelangelo's painting on the Sistine Chapel ceiling captures the moment God's finger stretches toward Adam. Your life has been one long, slow reach of heaven toward your humanity. A tension-filled space where one touch changes everything. You may have felt unwanted by people, but you have been relentlessly pursued by God, and this is where the mystery deepens. You have sensed things before they happened. You have walked into rooms and felt atmospheres shift. You have known without knowing how you knew. Have you noticed that the more you try to be normal, the more your soul feels like it's suffocating, as if you were designed for a frequency that the crowd cannot hear? That is not you being dramatic. That is you being awakened. Philosophers like Soren Kierkegaard once wrote about the leap of faith, the moment where logic can go no further and the heart must jump into the arms of the unseen. Your whole life has been one long trembling leap that only makes sense from heaven's perspective. You, chosen one, have walked through shadows that others never saw, fought battles they will never understand. And still you carry compassion, empathy, and the strange ability to love people who never quite loved you back. This is not weakness, this is evidence of an uncommon anointing. The world measures strength by how hard your fists can clench. Heaven measures it by how wide your heart can stay open when you sat in your room staring at the ceiling, whispering prayers that never made it into your journal because you were too tired to write. God heard every word. The inner lesson you have been learning without realizing it is this. The real miracle was never that God removed every fire, but that He climbed into the furnace with you and turned your scars into sacred testimony. You, chosen one, carry a kind of favor that does not play by human rules, and that is why people can't quite explain you. Some feel drawn to you and don't know why. Others feel intimidated and don't know why. You shift rooms without trying. Where there is confusion, you somehow bring clarity. Where there is panic, you radiate a quiet calm that makes others feel like, maybe, just maybe, everything is going to be okay. Scientists studying neuroplasticity have discovered that the human brain rewires itself in response to repeated focus and experience. In the same way, the repeated focus of your soul on God in dark seasons has rewired your spiritual circuitry, making you more sensitive to His voice and more resistant to despair than you realize. This is why things that would have destroyed others did not destroy you. You are not just surviving, you are being secretly rewired for assignment. And yet, let's be honest, it hasn't felt fair. You've watched others who compromise advance faster than you. You've seen people manipulate their way into rooms that your integrity kept you out of. You've cried, why them, God, why not me? What if God has no intention of letting you fit in with the patterns He sent you to break? And that's why every time you try to copy someone else, heaven quietly closes the door. Favor does not follow the laws of fairness. It follows the scent of those who remained faithful in the dark. You, chosen one, are marked by that fragrance. Think of Esther, an orphaned girl in a foreign palace who suddenly found herself in a position where her yes could save a nation. She didn't ask to be chosen, but when the moment came, heaven whispered, "For such a time as this." Your life has carried that same whisper. There is a "for such a time as this" over your existence, over your family line, over the city you live in. And you are not the first to walk this path. Look at someone like Nelson Mandela, who stepped out of 27 years in prison not as a bitter man, but as a leader, whose suffering had carved enough depth in him to carry the weight of reconciliation. In the same way, your years of hidden suffering have been carving out the capacity to hold a move of God that shallow comfort could never prepare you for. You, chosen one, have been walking through a wilderness, but wilderness is not punishment. It is preparation. The wilderness strips, but it also tunes. It exposes false voices and makes the real voice unmistakable. It teaches you that manna can fall in unexpected places and that streams can flow out of rocks you once thought were only hard obstacles in your path. Your heart has asked, when will this end? When will the doors open? When will the promise look like what you showed me? God, heaven's answer today is not a date on a calendar, but a shift in the atmosphere. A new season is beginning. Old cycles are fraying. Patterns that kept repeating in your life, like a looped song, are losing their power. Relationships that drained you are being gently peeled away. New alignments are forming, even if you can't see them yet. This is not just self-help. This is spiritual architecture. In art, Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night shows a sky swirling with unseen currents, suggesting that above the quiet village an invisible movement is at work. Likewise, above the apparent stillness of your life, heaven has been swirling with plans that are about to break into your visible world. You, chosen one, are standing at a threshold, at a gate between what was and what will be. Behind you are years of confusion, silent battles, misunderstood tears. Before you is a landscape you've only glimpsed in dreams and fragments of vision. And this is where the prophetic turn comes. I need you to know that a divine reversal is in motion. Places where you were the tail, you will become the head. Areas where your family only knew loss. Heaven is planting seeds of restoration. Rooms where your voice was ignored will soon be rooms where your voice is requested. In a fictional picture, imagine a young woman named Arya living in a city where everyone's eyes are dull and gray. She alone wakes up one morning with irises full of color, suddenly able to see hidden doorways of light in ordinary walls, and as she steps through them, she discovers her calling is to guide others out of their grayness. You chosen one are Arya in your own story, seeing the doors no one else sees and being invited to lead people through. You are not just being blessed for your own comfort, you are being positioned as living proof that God still intervenes, still heals, still rewrites bloodlines. The Apostle Paul wrote, "We are letters from Christ written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God." Corinthians chapter 3:3. Your life with all its mess and miracles is becoming a letter that others will read, a living text that says, "Look what God can do with a life that refused to quit." You, chosen one, are being invited into a deeper intimacy now. This is no longer about visiting God, it's about dwelling in Him. Your discernment will sharpen as you choose stillness over distraction, honest prayer over polished performance, worship over worry. Decisions will become clearer as you learn to distinguish the voice of fear from the voice of the shepherd. Strategies for your next steps, whether in family calling, business ministry, creativity, will rise in your spirit not as panic, but as quiet conviction. And yes, there will still be battles, but you will no longer face them as a confused victim. You will stand in them as an awake heir. One controversial truth you may need to accept is this: not everyone who started with you is meant to finish with you, and sometimes heaven's protection looks like unanswered calls, closed chats, and people quietly exiting your life. This is pruning, not rejection. This is God making room for what aligns with where you are going, not punishing you for where you have been. The light in you is growing, and not every connection can handle that brightness. And yet, as all of this unfolds, heaven is not asking you to become hard, it is inviting you to become whole. There is peace woven into this awakening. Not the peace of everything making sense yet, but the peace of knowing you are not abandoned in the process. So breathe, you, chosen one. Feel the old shame losing its grip. Feel the old labels falling away. Feel the quiet strength rising in your chest like dawn breaking after a very long night. You are not behind. You are right on time for what you were created to carry. Now, as a prophetic act, I want to invite you into the conversation. Share your heart. Tell your story. In the comments, write about the season you've been walking through, the battles you've survived, the questions you're still holding, the whispers you've heard from God in the dark. As you do, you are not just typing words, you are testifying, prophesying, and agreeing with heaven's narrative over your life. Your voice matters, your journey matters, and your revelation might be the very key someone else has been praying for. You chosen one. If your life has felt like a long stretch of empty desert lately, this is for you. There is a reason your prayers have echoed back in silence, why doors haven't opened as quickly as you hoped, why people you thought would walk with you have drifted away one by one. It isn't because God has forgotten you. It's because you are in the wilderness, and the wilderness is heaven's secret training ground for those God trusts with much. The wilderness is not just a place on a map. It is a season of the soul. It's that strange in-between where the old has fallen away, but the new hasn't fully appeared yet. You're not where you used to be, but you're not where you thought you'd be either. Your heart feels suspended between promise and reality. You look around and wonder, how did I get here? Why does everything feel so stripped, so quiet, so painfully honest? And somewhere beneath those questions, there is another whisper. Is God still with me? You, chosen one, are not the first to ask that. Israel walked through a literal wilderness for 40 years. David ran through caves and lonely hills long before he ever touched a crown. Even Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness before he stepped into public ministry. Heaven's pattern has not changed. Before God reveals you, he refines you. Before he trusts you with the promised land, he carves something unshakable into your heart in the hidden places. The wilderness is where illusions burn away. Out there's nothing left to cling to but God himself. No crowd to impress, no image to maintain, no noise loud enough to drown out what's really going on inside. It's where your motives are tested, your idols are exposed, and your dependence is recalibrated. When the familiar comforts fall away, you discover what you've actually been leaning on. Was it God or was it people's opinions? Was it his promise or the timeline you created for that promise? The wilderness asks fierce, holy questions, and it refuses to let you answer them with cliches. This is why it feels so uncomfortable. The wilderness is not where you go to perform. It is where you go to be undone. You, chosen one, have felt that undoing, haven't you? Relationships that once felt solid started to crumble. Opportunities that looked perfect mysteriously fell apart at the last second. Environments that once fed your ego suddenly began to drain your soul. At first, it felt like rejection. It felt like punishment. But what if it was actually protection? What if heaven was pulling you out of places that could not carry the weight of who you are becoming? Think about it. If a soldier is being prepared for a special assignment, they don't train in the middle of a crowd where everyone can watch. They are taken aside, put through intense, targeted training. The general is not being cruel, he is being intentional. In the same way, God has not dragged you into the wilderness to humiliate you, but to educate you. He is teaching your spirit things that comfortable seasons could never teach. In the wilderness, you learn how to hear God without a microphone, without a stage, without a band playing behind you. You learn to recognize his presence in the ordinary, in the way a verse suddenly pierces your heart, in the way a random sentence in a book feels like it was written with your name on it, in the way a quiet inner nudge stops you from making a move that would have tangled your destiny. You, chosen one, are being sharpened. Your discernment is not a mistake. It is the fruit of surviving deserts where you had nothing but God's whisper to guide you. While others built their lives on applause, you were forced to build yours on intimacy. And yes, it hurt. It still does. There were nights you stared at the ceiling and asked, why does it seem easier for everyone else? Why do they get instant answers and I get silence? Why do my battles feel heavier, my tests longer, my path lonelier? The wilderness does not deny those questions. It takes them and turns them into altars. Each time you chose to worship instead of walking away, each time you chose to forgive. When bitterness felt safer, each time you chose to trust when every visible sign screamed, give up, something in the unseen shifted. Heaven took note. You were being forged. Imagine a sword in the hands of a master smith. It is heated until it glows, then hammered again and again. To the metal, it must feel like violence, but to the smith, it is precision. Every strike has a purpose to drive out impurities, to align the molecules, to create something that will not shatter in battle. You, chosen one, are that sword. The heat of your trials was not random fire. It was refining fire. The blows that made you cry out were not senseless, they were shaping. The wilderness is where your calling stops being a pretty idea and starts becoming a costly yes. It is where you stop saying, use me, God, in theory, and start saying, even here, even now, even when I don't understand, I still choose you. That kind of yes has power. That kind of yes carries authority. That kind of yes is what breaks generational cycles. You see, the wilderness is never just about you. You are not the only one walking through your desert. Behind you are those who will one day walk in the shade of the breakthrough you're fighting for now. Every time you break a pattern in your own life, a pattern of addiction, of emotional chaos, of spiritual laziness, you are silently breaking it over your bloodline. You, chosen one, were sent into the wilderness not to die there but to confront what defeated those who came before you. That is why the warfare has been so intense. You're not just battling your own doubts, you're wrestling with the residue of generations. But here is the mystery: the wilderness that wore you out is also where heaven has been pouring strength into you. On the days you felt too tired to pray but whispered Jesus anyway, angels moved. On the days you wanted to run back to what was familiar but stayed still, instead roots grew deeper underground. On the days you felt numb but still chose not to numb out with the old coping mechanisms, a chain snapped in the spiritual realm. You didn't see it, but heaven did, and heaven has not forgotten. There is also a gentler side to the wilderness that you may have glimpsed without fully naming it. It is in the unlikely moments of beauty that appeared in dry seasons, an unexpected encouragement, a friend who showed up precisely when you needed a shoulder, a small provision that arrived at the exact hour you thought you were out of options. Those were not accidents, they were manna. In Israel's story, manna fell from heaven in the wilderness, not in the promised land. It was God's way of saying, I see you, I know where you are, I will not let you starve while you walk with me. In your wilderness, manna has looked like emotional bread, spiritual bread, financial bread, relational bread that showed up in ways you couldn't predict. If you look back carefully, you will notice a pattern just when you thought, this is it. I can't go on, something small but sacred arrived. Just enough to keep you moving, just enough to whisper, you are not alone. These are the fingerprints of God on your desert days. You, chosen one, may feel lost, but you have been guided the whole time. And now there is a shift in the air. The wilderness does not last forever. Its purpose is not to become your permanent identity, but to be your passageway. When Israel's time in the desert was done, the same God who led them in by a pillar of cloud and fire led them out by crossing a river on dry ground. When Jesus finished his 40 days, he emerged in the power of the Spirit. The pattern is consistent: wilderness, then wait, testing, then authority, stripping, then sending. You are nearing one of those thresholds. You might not feel it yet because thresholds rarely look glamorous up close. They often look like small acts of obedience, making a phone call you're afraid to make, starting the project you've postponed because you feel unqualified, saying yes to a door that feels too big or no to a door that feels too convenient but misaligned. But in the spirit, something louder is happening. Old cycles are thinning. Fear is losing its voice. Shame is being evicted. The emotional reactions that used to hijack you are starting to loosen their grip. You are responding differently than you used to, and that is a sign the wilderness has done something in you. You, chosen one, are not the same person who walked into this desert. Your eyes see more clearly. Your heart loves more deeply. Your ears are tuned more sharply to God's whisper. This is exactly what the wilderness was meant to produce. And as you cross this invisible line into a new season, remember this: the wilderness was training you not just to survive, but to lead. Out there, away from the noise, you learned how to carry peace into storms. You learned how to stand when everything shakes. You learned how to listen when the world screams. Those are the qualities of a spiritual warrior, of a curse breaker, of someone heaven can trust with other people's hearts. You will step into rooms where people are smiling on the outside but crumbling on the inside, and you will recognize the look in their eyes because you've seen it in your own mirror. You will not judge them. You will understand them. The compassion you gained in the wilderness will become a healing river for others. Your story will be a key that unlocks their prison. Your scars will be proof that survival is possible. Your testimony will be a roadmap for those still wandering through their own sandstorms. So you, chosen one, do not despise the wilderness. Honor what it has given you, even as you feel heaven gently leading you forward. The desert was never meant to define you, but it has refined you. The silence was not God's absence. It was God's surgery. The waiting was not wasted time. It was sacred preparation. Breathe that in. Let it settle. You are not behind schedule. You are exactly where you needed to be to become who you are now. And as you step out carrying this deep, quiet strength, I want to invite you into something holy. Share your journey. In your own words, tell the story of your wilderness, what it felt like. What you lost, what you found, what God whispered to you in the dark. When you share, you're not just talking. You're planting seeds of hope in someone else's desert. You're saying, I've walked there too, and there is a way through. So in whatever space you have, whether it's the comments, a journal, a conversation with a friend, release your testimony. You, chosen one, are not just coming out of the wilderness. You are coming out as a voice for those who still feel lost in it. Your story is a lantern. Lift it high. If the wilderness has taught you anything, it's that you were never abandoned, only being refined. Every dry season, every silent night, every unanswered question has been shaping you into someone who can carry light where others only see darkness. This is the sacred mystery of your journey. What tried to break you has become the very place where God is building you. As you step out of this message, don't just walk away, walk forward. If this word confirmed something deep in your spirit, I invite you to seal it with action. Like this video, share it with another soul who might be wandering through their own desert, and comment your wilderness story below so your testimony can be a roadmap for someone else. And if you feel led to support through super thanks, know that I receive it as a prophetic act of agreement. But even if you simply watched, listened, and stayed, thank you. Your presence here is an honor. I bless you now with clarity and confusion, strength in your spirit, and a fresh awareness of God walking beside you in every step. May your wilderness become your witness, and may peace guard your heart as you rise.